Hi, Yasmin.
Hi, Lubna.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So let's say hi to everyone who'll be watching this,
Hi,
and
everyone.
and maybe we can give a short intro because some might know you, not know me, and vice versa.
Okay. طيب. My name is Lubna. I'm a health coach, health and nutrition coach. I mainly help women who want to reach a healthy weight without using anything restrictive, no restrictive diets, and I help them achieve a balanced relationship with food and their body. So I help women with body image, self-love, while working on balanced weight loss, no restrictive diets whatsoever. Yasmin.
Great. So similarly, I'm more of a recipe developer, and I own a few food brands. One of them is Caju, and I also do help people with finding a balanced relationship with food and correcting any negative body image. But my main focus is on eating greens, eating right, moving enough, but without prescribing something that fits everyone, because I know everyone's different, and I know that you share that same mentality, and that's why we're kind of having this talk today.
Yes. Awesome. Kejo is one of my favorite food brands ever. طيب. I want to start by asking you about the biggest lesson you learned from your health journey.
Okay.
I know you've had a very long journey, and I've heard a couple of talks by you, so I want to share that with people. And
yeah, I think we both have a similar journey of trying so many different diets, and in the end just settling with, okay, I'm different, and my intuition tells me to eat something, I'll do it. And then when we followed that, it worked. So I think drawing from that, my conclusion, like my biggest lesson would be that if you find something that works for you, that brings you peace, whatever it may be, it can be against the world, but if it makes you feel at peace, you should respect yourself enough and honor that and stick to it until it no longer gives you that sense of peace and balance. So it could be forever, it could be just for a week, it doesn't matter, but just to really respect yourself and give yourself that which you know is good for you. Because just to add something quickly, from my experience, there were some things that I've tried and it felt great, but I was like, oh no, this is not what this person said, or that's not what this doctor said, so it must be wrong. And then you're just going against yourself, and you're going against your own stabilizing, like it's like as if we have a mechanism in our bodies that just knows what's right. So it's to listen to that.
so you're more about making your body the guide.
Definitely.
And did you feel like that changed throughout different phases of your life?
You mean that point of balance?
Yes.
Yes and no. Like it has changed, but not dramatically. But yeah, there are some slight changes. Like there are some times where I can really eat the same thing every single day, and I'm doing so well with it. Then I just look at it and I'm like, no. And I don't eat it for maybe months. Like corn, for example, I have phases where I go crazy over corn, and phases where I really don't want to see it. So I think this is just making peace with the fact that our bodies need different things at different times. But in general, I found that, for example, like a fully raw vegan diet doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment I eat too much cooked food, I'm like, where's the raw? I need the raw. I feel good with the raw. But it was just that going to that 100%, that was too much. So it's somewhere in the middle.
Mm.
And same thing with grains. I've also cut out grains completely. And it felt good for a while until I just feel like my energy is not the same.
Mm.
So it's really about finding that very, very subtle balance points, which takes lots of trial and error. It takes time, but it's so worth it because in the end, you just know how to rectify any unease.
Yeah. Yes, that makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. And what about you? What would be the one thing?
Excuse me, I didn't get that.
What would be the one thing that you've learned?
Okay, so my favorite lesson ever is that no matter what type of food you eat, no matter how much you exercise, no matter what greens you eat, if you do not love yourself, you can never be healthy. And
Yeah.
that health can be different things at different points in time. So maybe health at some point could be eating lots of greens, exercising, and sleeping more. It's different for every single phase of your life. So sometimes it's going to sometimes it's going to be that, other times it's going to be eat more, exercise less, and sleep. So it really depends on what your body is going through, and your role is to just listen to your body and do whatever it takes to make it feel better at every single point of your life. And that size is never a reflection of how healthy you actually are. A lot of people are super fit, they look amazingly fit for they look very healthy and fit and everything, but they're not healthy. Other people do not look the same way as like the kind of fit everyone expects, but they're actually very healthy. So I realized that at the healthy I'm right now, I feel like at the healthiest point of my life, and there were phases of my life where I looked much fitter. So in regular people's terms, I would have been healthier back then, but I do know I was not healthy at all. Not in my mind, not in my heart, not in my connection to my body. I was not listening to my body. I was not listening to my intuition. So
Yeah.
it really varies along the phases of your life, and along your awareness of your body.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think some habits can be really good habits, but it depends on the intention behind them. Like if you exercise every day because you hate the way you look, it's so different than if you exercise just once a week because you actually love this exercise and you don't have maybe time to do it other days of the week, or you just don't feel like it. But if you just do it that one time with so much love, it's so different than doing it with hatred and anxiety behind it.
Yes, and I believe the same for why we eat. Like I believe that if someone eats a whole bag of nuts and it's healthy food, so it's not about how much they eat of it, it's about the fact that they're eating so much of that food because they don't know, they're trying to fill something out. And if someone else decides to eat a cookie, just one cookie, and move on and feel healthy about it, and like feel balanced this way, they're still healthy. So it's the food is not just health is not just about what we eat, but why we eat it as well. Just like you said with sports, it's the same thing. So if you're working out multiple times a day because you don't like your body, that doesn't count as health.
Yeah, I think I think this is like a key thing is when you're trying to fill a void, whether you fill this void with exercise or with food or with anything, it's the same thing as filling a void by watching TV.
Yes.
You're not giving yourself the chance to see why is there a void in the first place, and what can you do to actually like seal this hole instead of filling it with something. So this is the part where emotional eating comes in, right? It's like when you feel this void and you just want to eat and forget about it, it's not the same as actually acknowledging what the problem is. And you can still eat. Like you don't have to, like one doesn't negate the other, but it's important to address the root cause. And there are so many causes behind causes. Like you have to keep digging layers. But it's like an investigation of yourself. And it's amazing to do it with, of course, the help of coaches, of friends, or even by yourself, which is a bit harder. But definitely like going inwards is the key to being healthy.
Yes, it is. And it's also like the way we eat is a reflection of the way we do everything. So
Yeah.
somewhere along my journey, I realized I was using having a very perfect diet and exercising so much as a control mechanism to make myself feel like I have control over something when things are not in control. It's like overcompensation to create balance. You know the concept that if for example your body you as a human being crave balance. So if you want to bend one side, the other side would do this just to get you back
Yeah,
somewhere. So there's always a sign of overcompensation somewhere. So
definitely.
yeah, for me that was a big thing, like realizing I'm overcompensating through being super healthy to overcompensate for other things that I believe I wasn't so much in control of.
Yeah, and usually, like our relationship with food is like a relationship with any human or thing. So if we have one that's not like a dysfunctional relationship, we tend to show that in the way we eat as well. Like it's like a direct parallel between the two. It's very interesting when we like, even with myself, when I had dysfunctional relationships, my eating was like all over the place. Even though it could have been healthy, but it was still not right. It didn't feel right. And also when I also did like the extreme diets and like strict intermittent fasting, you know, by the minute. Literally by the minute. I can't believe I did that. But I wasn't happy. And to some people I was like, oh wow, she's been doing this for a year, she's so disciplined. Yes, but it wasn't discipline because I loved or respected my body. It was discipline because I was so afraid of what would happen if I didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand and relate.
Yeah. And then the fear came in, it goes beyond just you. It's how will people accept you and how will people love you. And this is where, like, you know, the self-love has to kick in and throw all these worries away.
Yeah, but it's very true what you said, that sometimes it's like eating disordered or disordered eating behavior is even encouraged by people. Like there are people only see the side where someone whose eating is not very balanced is overeating, and then they start realizing that's not okay, but they don't see the side where that person is under eating or over exercising or completely cutting off certain types of food.
Yeah, and that's social media too, right? Like you only show what you want to show, but not necessarily, because you can still be around people and still eat in secrecy at night. So this also happens. So I guess, yeah, being honest with yourself and with others is it's a challenging step, but it's something that I've been working on as well, because I haven't been vegan for 4 years now. People still think I am, but I make posts about, you know, like including some eggs or a bit of seafood. And then I get messages like, oh, I thought we were vegan. They're not necessarily angry messages, but they're confused. And I'm like, it's actually been 4 years, but you know, I've just been talking about it more now. But now I feel like, you know, I have nothing to hide. This is how I'm eating. And yes, I do advocate vegan food and vegan recipes and vegan brands, but my personal balance right now needs eggs and Greek yogurt. And I don't do well without them anymore. So it's been hard for me to actually like say this, you know, out loud on social media.
Yeah, it's a very brave step of you, and I can imagine how hard it was, because people already put you in a box where you're like Yasmin the vegan, or Yasmin who eats vegan food, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it takes a lot to step back from that, and you're like, I'm today's Yasmin, or my body tells me to eat this today, maybe tomorrow I won't be.
Yeah, and I used to look at people posting videos like back when I turned vegan, like 7 years ago, of why I'm no longer vegan on YouTube. And I was like, how dare they? They're horrible people. They don't understand. They're losers. Like, you know, I just judged them in so many different ways. And then now I'm like, now I know what they meant. Okay.
Yeah, I completely relate to that too. I stayed vegan for like 3 months before.
Mhm.
I think it was around the time I traveled to Asia. Food there wasn't very
Mm.
meat appealing. So, and it was also around the same time I was studying health coaching. So I wanted to explore different things. And then it was all about being vegan. And at some point I felt like my body is telling me, eat meat. Right now I need meat. So
Mm.
at first it was beans, huge amounts of beans,
Me too.
trying to fill in the
Same.
extreme amounts of beans, trying to fill in the need for animal food. And right now it's just like, today what do I feel like today? I could go for like 3 days without eating meat, and another day I'm like, I want meat. The next day I want fish, and some other days I just want beans all day.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing just exploring what your body is telling you and like listening to it. And I really encourage anyone to actually go through this journey without having the pressure of how will that affect my weight, how will that affect my image, how will that affect, just listen to your body. It's always like giving you the right messages at the right time. And it's pushing you to explore, because we're not meant to be one thing all the time as people in general.
Exactly. Definitely. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about the beans, you made me laugh, because me too, like at some point I was eating so much beans. And, you know, it takes forever to digest, and it's not like I mean, there is like I think there's like a certain amount, a limit for humans to consume beans. I think I went over that, but
A little bit overboard.
yeah. But yesterday in the morning, I felt like a lentil salad for breakfast, and I'm like, you know what? Why not? And it felt great. So it's not about like banning a food group forever. It's just about not now, and now is the key word, really.
Yeah, with the seasons, with the mood, with the movement, with everything, you feel like that it's changing. This is why when someone asks me about a specific diet, like the vegan diet or the plant-based diet, what do you think of the plant-based diet? I really don't know what to say, because why are you doing it? That's the question. Do you feel like
Yeah.
your body is calling you to eat more plant food, less animal food? Then that's fine. But the hype that happened about the plant-based diet the past years, people were just following it thinking it's gonna make them lose weight. They're following a plant-based diet because they wanna, I don't know, they just think it's somehow gonna be the magic, just like any other diet, like the keto, like whatever
Yeah.
it is. They're just looking for some diet to follow and like be the magic secret diet. So it's really about the motive.
Definitely. And don't copy someone just because you think they're doing well. They could be doing well because they're following their own intuition, but it's working for their constitution, maybe not for yours. So it's okay to copy just as a testing ground, but not to decide like this is it for life. No, it's just try it for a few days, try it for a week. Like I did a full keto diet for 3 days and I hated it.
Hmm.
So, you know, I
But
know it's working really well for some people, and there are days where I do eat low carb because it feels good, but there are days where I'm like, no, I need my carbs and I want a lot of them.
yeah, it's just like intermittent fasting for me. Like there were times where I tried to do intermittent fasting and it just bothered me looking at the watch when I'm hungry, waiting for a certain time to eat. But there are other times now where I wake up feeling like I don't want to have breakfast and I don't want to have dinner, and I just want to have one meal. And it doesn't
Exactly.
bother me anymore because this is what my body is telling me. On another occasion or another day when I wake up and feel like I want to have dinner or I want to have breakfast or I want to have lunch for breakfast, I will just do that.
Exactly. And actually, in these situations, your body is thanking you, and you feel it later. Because if you compare it to the days where you actually maybe like force fed yourself or you force starved yourself, your body was not thanking you. It was trying even harder to tell you, like, no, I need this. So it's like a little inner conflict that can just be avoided with, as you get more familiar with your body.
Yeah. So would you give someone guidance about how, so this is something I struggle with a lot with clients when coaching people, and I think you're going to be like better at it to help the audience understand this better. So just because most of the people I coach are weight loss clients, so it's very hard to get intuitive eating into the picture. Just I usually give very sly signals about, okay, fine, I give a guideline of what to do and what not to do, because I do understand how someone who wants to lose weight will want certain guidelines. So I usually give a framework where they can work with, and I help them explore their body's needs along the journey and modify this framework while seeing the results they need to see. But I do understand you work 100% intuitively. You work 100% with intuitive eating with other people and helping people. So
90%.
yeah,
To be fair.
technically you will need a percentage of giving guidance, of course, I understand. But what is the biggest challenge when trying to help people explore their own bodies? Like people are always very like, no, they're afraid of it.
I think okay, the first thing that came to mind when you said that, like, is tension and like physical tension.
Hmm.
And I think movement is a great way to explore that. And I'm talking very subtle movement, not like, hardcore weightlifting, but just like dancing, stretching, walking. But walking is not enough because you don't have much freedom when you walk. But with dancing or just intuitive movement, which I've taken some workshops and they were every time just
I love
amazing.
it. I do it
Amazing.
too.
This I think really complements the food, because sometimes we think of food and that's the thing, we just think of it like it's all in here.
Hmm.
We forget the connection with the actual body. So when you connect to your body, suddenly like these two parts just become one, and you are like fully, aware of what your body needs.
Yeah.
So intuitive movements, like it's, you don't really teach it, you also have to guide it. But I think we all have it in us anyway. So it's just about like pushing the right button, and then everything just, you know, like naturally happens.
Yeah, it just clicks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
So I have a question. I have a question for you. Would you consider anything to be like a good addiction, a positive addiction? Can that exist?
Hmm. I don't really think so. No, I don't believe in that. No, I believe like if it's something you can addiction, by addiction we mean something you can't stop easily or something you can't let go of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some types of addiction that are like compulsive helping addiction. So people who are addicted to helping people. So I've read about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've read a book about that, and it actually does exist. Like some people are addicted to helping others, and they feel a void when they don't fulfill that need. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe with addictions, it's always not the substance or the act the person gets addicted to, but rather the emptiness they're trying to fill with that void, which sometimes turns into other forms of illnesses or other forms of imbalances, just because it's not filled with that thing. So I believe when a person feels the need to get addicted to something, or that they're filling a void with it, they need to step back and evaluate what that void is truly is.
Yeah.
Do you believe in positive addictions?
No. I think at some point I did.
Mm.
I mean, sure, like I do need my sunshine. I need clean water, you know, I need clean air. But I think these are more like basic human rights.
Mm.
But in terms of addiction, no, like I wouldn't proudly say that I'm addicted to working out.
Mm.
I don't think I've ever said that, but my mother did tell me once. She's like, you work out too much. You just escape your problems. And I'm like, oh, she doesn't understand me. And then years later, you know, looking back, I'm like, actually, I think she was right. Like, I was definitely using it as a way to. It was like a mindless working out. Now what I do is more mindful, which like it's hard to explain the difference. It's very subtle, but it's like I do every move because I like it, because I want to get better at it, not because, oh, I have to squat because it will make my legs look better. Like I'm past that phase. I'm past that way of thinking. So I really wish more people would like exercise because they love the feeling they get, rather than, by the way, it looks so nice, the sunlight behind you.
Is it making my face too dark? There was a little bit of noise back there, so I had to move.
No, but it's a nice lighting.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it's really not an addiction for you anymore, is it? Like you can stop it if you don't want.
Yeah, and even now, so with the lockdown, you know, no gym,
Mm.
so I have to improvise at home, carrying my toolbox, people, or just dancing. And I've been doing more dancing, and I love it. And you can really challenge your body with dancing, you know. So for me, like working out is not about just getting it, like doing like a checklist, like khalas, I worked out for today. No, it's about just pushing yourself to discover like different things your body can do.
You know, something
So
I really love doing is actually not deciding on a workout plan and just waking up in the morning like, how do I want to move today? Sometimes I literally feel like my glutes pushing me, like,
me too,
God,
exactly the same.
that is too much. Some other days, I literally feel just like doing some yoga. But actually, this wasn't me
Mhm.
years back at all. Like, this was something I was definitely addicted to. Working out, it was definitely, for me, it was a control mechanism. Like, whenever something goes wrong, I'd exercise more, eat less, exercise more, eat less. Until, and then it was
Mhm.
very encouraged back then. I was a fitness teacher. Everyone looked up to me. Oh my God, this girl, she's always like jumping around. She's doing the most intense classes. People would come to my classes to leave feeling like, I can't move anymore. And it's just, I wasn't okay. I really wasn't okay. I was just,
Mm.
I felt at some points I didn't give myself a chance to rest. If I rested, I would obsess about what I'm eating when I'm not moving. I literally remember once I went and I got an ice cream cone. I was in the mall, I was shopping, I got an ice cream cone, and then I sent a picture of an ice cream cone to my friends, And then they were like, oh, look who's finally eating ice cream. And like the same day, I sent them my step count because I went running. I went for an uphill climb. I think I ran for like 21 kilometers.
Wow.
This is really not sustainable. Like now I'm like, what was I thinking? Just eat the ice cream. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, definitely the idea that you also have to earn your food is
To
so flawed.
exercise.
And
It's terrible.
yeah, and unfortunately, I see it in men too, you know, not just women. And I feel like no one is really addressing men, especially in the Middle East, you know. It's sad, but I do have, you know, I know people who have, like, men who have food issues, you know, from binge eating to like orthorexia, like we're talking about, like, you know, being so strict with oneself. And I really wish that some, you know, male coaches can just step up and offer help, because it's easier from man to man, just like it's easier from woman to woman.
So this is
But at the same time, like, I also invite any guy who has any question to, like, you know, send us and we'll be happy to answer.
this wow, how this is amazing. I never realized, but I did realize men who have issues with food, when they come and talk to me, they're usually uncomfortable about it, so they start stepping back. They want to display the image that this is not a problem and I'm completely fine. So when I coach men, it's hardly ever about that. And mostly always what I realized when I coach people on self-love, so I realized a chain. This is when I started including self-love in all my programs as an optional aspect. So I realized that like I do a whole module or like a couple of sessions on self-love. What I realized with men is that the way women's value is attached to their looks, men's values are attached to how much money they make.
Yeah, it's more material.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive topic for men. But I never actually realized they're just not comfortable talking to women about their eating issues. So that would actually be great if they want to come and talk to us, and if any male coach decided to step in. I actually know a couple of friends that I will call and invite them to take this initiative. Male coaches, I think that would be great. We need to have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the whole cycle of weightlifting becoming a trend, and that males have to look a certain way just like women have to look a certain way.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, men also, I think they do have the body image, but it's very hard to open up about that.
Yes, and it's even encouraged.
Yeah, but then again, you know, like, there should be no shame about our bodies, because in the end, like, we are not our bodies. We have our body to use to live this life, but our body not us. And even though we have control over them to some extent, but they also control us. This is just like a little food for thought I wanted to leave out there.
Yeah. Well, there's that quote that really upsets me now, or it just gets on my nerves. When people say in workouts, you're the boss of your body, or like if your body tells you enough, you keep going. Things like that are usually told said as motivational talks, or like your body doesn't quit when it wants to quit. Your body quits when you tell it to quit. What's up with the fight with your body? You're one team. Why don't you just act kinder to your body? What's with the whole control issues, or to prove who's stronger we have to not listen to our bodies? And I personally struggled a lot as a result of that, as a result of not listening to my body, listening to people who are coaches, fitness coaches, doctors, different types of people who did not for once tell me to listen to my body. And the first time I was told to listen to my body, I realized there's a lot of damage that happened as a result of that over the years.
Yeah, definitely. Thankfully, I've never pushed myself beyond that point. I don't know why. I mean, the only time I injured myself was like during splits, which was painful. But it wasn't because I wasn't listening to my body. I think I'm lucky to have this part of me that's like, خلاص, when but with food, however, like, yeah, I've definitely like went way below like the fat intake, way below that.
Mm.
And that's, yeah, definitely like everything changed. My mood, my even I think my hair was definitely thinning, things like that. But no, with exercise, it's like it's good to know that yes, your body is kind of limitless in the sense that if you train enough, you can do anything. Like look at the Olympics, but you will probably have no social life if you do. You will have no period for women if you do. So even though like yes, you can do so much with your body, but how is your body responding to that? This is what you should pay attention to.
Yes, yes, definitely. And I also believe like the intention behind it, as you said before, is just what matters the most. If you want to make your body
Mhm.
limitless, it's fine, but you also got to listen to its limits and respect it. When it does say, that's my limit now.
Exactly.
Like your limit is whatever I decide is your limit, and then you're ruining its basic functions, like carrying a child, like being able to function under stress. All of these things, they're there for a reason. Maybe you deplete it. I think the reason why someone might go further in exercise as well, and someone might not go, it depends on how exercise was portrayed since childhood. So for me, it was always like I was forced into exercise ever since I was a kid, because this was a way to show that I'm committed and successful. And it's not like you need to work out because workouts are fun or it's good to take care of your body. It's like you
Mm.
need to work out because if you don't work out, you're a loser.
Yeah, of course, and this stays in your head for years.
Yes, definitely.
Mm.
So that's also an important side of it. And yeah, there's always the part of the person, like the way you do exercise and eat and do everything is the way you do everything else. So when I stopped over exercising, under eating, all of these things, is when I stopped wearing makeup. It's when I stopped wearing, like I used to wear makeup to school when I was in high school. It's a whole chain. Like right now I barely wear makeup to weddings. Like this is how much I barely even wear. There's nothing wrong with makeup. Again, it's just about your intention with it. So
Exactly.
it's really about not feeling like you have something to hide, or not feeling like you're not good enough. It's like I wake up and I'm more comfortable than I have ever been with my face, with my skin. Like just like I like raw vegetables now. The
Mm-hmm.
taste of, I don't like spices on my vegetables. I don't, it just bothers me. I like the taste of my vegetables raw. Like I like to feel the carrot, the zucchini, everything separately. And I don't like mixing food. And I like eating in silence. And I like being present with my food. It's just this distractions irritate me when I'm eating. Like if someone switches on the TV or makes noise while I'm eating, I'm just like,
Yeah,
it's the
I can
same
totally
with yourself. Yeah,
relate.
it's the same with your face, with your looks, with your body. Like now it's just like, it's enough. I like it. It's good enough. You don't need something else. So if I want to do something, it's because I want to do it. It's not because I can't go out not wearing makeup, or I can't, or I have to prove. Like a lot of people really feel they need to justify their food,
Mm-hmm.
which I believe comes from a place of lacking. Like when you feel like, okay, I'm just eating that for today. Why do you feel like you have to justify what you're eating? And a lot of that happens on social media, which really bothers me. When someone like a public figure or someone who is into health or fitness or wellness posts a picture of themselves eating an ice cream or a burger, and then they go like cheat meal or cheat day. What's up with
Yeah.
So I believe people should really not feel a need to ever explain their food. Like it's a very intimate relationship,
Yeah.
and you do whatever you want with it.
And also no need to cheat. It's like a relationship. If you're with a good partner, you don't need to cheat. So if you're cheating, it means that your system is not even right for you.
Definitely, I love that. I love the way you put it. Like if you need to cheat on it, it's just not working.
Yeah.
And it's part,
So
and it's part like of what, you know what, when we were saying about how you eat, is like if you can decide to eat an ice cream, but you can decide to eat it in a healthy way. You can eat an
yeah,
ice cream and move on, and you can decide to eat chicken, but you eat it, or you eat salad, but you eat it in an unhealthy way with a wrong mindset, and then it's not healthy. So it's really not about the specific food you're eating.
yeah. And also just to put things into context a bit, like with this, sort of quarantine lockdown we're in, not so much here, but at some point it did feel like it. Um, I actually feel a lot better. I feel like, I'm moving a bit less. because I'm not going out so much. But I'm working out more peacefully. I eat less. I feel better. My digestion is way better. So it's nice to see that our lives sometimes are so fast paced and it puts so much stress on our bodies. And when we're actually just, kind of encouraged to stay home and take it easy, everything flows better.
Yes.
So I hope this is the case for most people, because for me, it's been a very nice, few weeks actually so far.
It's time to like ground things and go back to the basics and relax, slow down.
Exactly. So should we end it here, and maybe we can make a recommendation of like, pages and books and things to look into for our viewers?
Sure, definitely.